I was in the middle of a sentence and the word just left. Not slowly, not like I was searching for it. It was just gone, like somebody pulled it out of midair. I sat there, I looked at Carmen. I tried to keep talking like a normal, functioning adult human being, which is always risky around here. And the word came back to me about 3 minutes later while I was doing something completely different. And here's what I want you to know. How many of you nodded along with me just then? Because that specific moment is what nobody warned me about when I got my Parkinson's diagnosis. Nobody said, by the way, your brain is going to fog over and take things from you that you didn't even know that could be taken. And that's what we're talking about today. 5 things, 5 specific things, the things that Parkinson's brain fog steals, and why nobody on your medical team is sitting down and walking you through them. And stick with me, because if you've been wondering why you feel less like yourself lately, this might be the episode that you needed.
Welcome to Living with Parkinson's. The good, the bad, and the reality. Real talk, real life, real community with Bryce Perry. Let's begin.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the episode or to the broadcast. And a big welcome to our newest community members. If you're new here, I'm really glad that you found us. And a lot of you did, about 2,000 last month. So welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the place where we talk about Parkinson's honestly, the good, the bad, and the ridiculous little moments that make you wonder if your brain has gone out for coffee and forgot to invite you. Now, a quick ask before we go any further. Hit the like button if this topic matters to you. And I mean this one, because there are people sitting at home right now thinking something is wrong with them beyond Parkinson's. They're scared, they're confused, and they may not even know how to explain what's happening. Your one click helps YouTube show this video to them. So do it for them, please, and thank you. All right, 5 things Parkinson's brain fog steals from you. Let's go. Let's get into this. Here's the thing about Parkinson's brain fog that makes it different from the tremors, the stiffness, the freezing, or the shuffle. Nobody can see it. When your hand shakes, people understand something's going on with you. When you freeze up mid-step, people can see that you're struggling. But when your brain goes foggy, when the word disappears, when the thought evaporates, when the hour vanishes, you look just fine. Maybe you look a bit distracted or maybe a bit confused. Maybe like you walked into a room with confidence and immediately forgot the entire mission. And the worst part is, a lot of us don't even tell our neurologists because we're scared of what it means. Because maybe we've Googled it at like 2 a.m., seen the word dementia, quietly closed the laptop and decided we're never emotionally speaking of that moment again. I get it. I really do. So before we go into the 5 things, I need to say this very clearly. Parkinson's brain fog is not the same thing as dementia. Brain fog can happen with Parkinson's. Cognitive changes can happen with Parkinson's. Slowed thinking, word finding problems, attention issues, fatigue, all of that can be part of this disease. And yes, if you notice changes, you should absolutely bring them up with your doctor. But brain fog does not automatically mean the worst case scenario that your 2 a.m. Google search tried to sell to you. Understanding what it is actually stealing from you is the first step to not letting it steal your identity too. Now drop a me too in the comments if brain fog is part of your daily life. Don't let me be the only one on this one. Because you are absolutely, I know I'm not alone, and you are absolutely not alone. Okay, here we go. Number 1. And this one is probably the one that gets me the most. It steals your words. Not all of them, not permanently, just at the exact wrong moment. Mid-sentence, in a conversation that matters, on a podcast or on a phone call that you're already nervous about. Or when you're trying to sound intelligent and your brain decides, nope, not today. I'm going to buffer. There's a name for it. It's called word retrieval difficulty. Sometimes it's called anomia. And basically your brain knows the word exists, but it can't find the pathway to grab it fast enough. It's like your brain has the file somewhere, but the search bar is spinning. And here's what it feels like. It feels like you're getting dumber. And that is a lie that brain fog tells. That's the cruel part. Because you're not getting dumber. Your brain is working harder with less dopamine support, slower processing, more fatigue, and more interference than it used to have. Your intelligence didn't disappear. Your access speed changed. Think of it like this. Think of it like it's your library still has every book. The card catalog is just running slow. The books are still there. You're still there. The retrieval system just needs more time than it used to. So the next time a word disappears on you, give yourself about 3 minutes. It may come back later. And when it does, you haven't failed. You just have to wait at a slower checkout line. With Parkinson's, apparently even words need a mobility plan. All right, number 2. And this one sneaks up on you. It steals your time. And not in the obvious way. Not like a packed schedule. More like this. You sit down to answer one email. One. And suddenly 45 minutes are gone. You have 6 browser tabs open. You somehow ended up reading about lawn fertilizer, and the original email is still sitting there looking at you like, hey, remember me? That is brain fog stealing your time. I get a me too in the comments for that. And it can happen because your brain is working harder to do basic tasks. Planning, sorting, deciding, remembering what you're doing, switching from one thing to the other. All of that takes energy. And Parkinson's can make that mental energy feel like a phone battery from 2009. Fully charged at 8 a.m. and fully dead by 10:30 a.m. That is cognitive fatigue. And it's different than physical fatigue. You may not look tired. You may not feel like you ran a marathon, but mentally, your brain has been lifting furniture all morning. Now, here's the trap. The fog costs you time. Then you get frustrated about losing time. Then the frustration makes the fog worse. And now you're foggy and annoyed, which is basically Parkinson's making a casserole out of your nervous system. And it's awful. So the practical move, protect your sharpest window. I talked a bit about this in the last episode. Most of us have a better part of the day. Maybe it's mid-morning right after your meds kick in, or maybe it's early afternoon. Maybe it's some magical 17-minute window where you feel almost human and try to accomplish 4 days of tasks in the 17 minutes. Pay attention to that window, though. Use that for the most important thing. Not the easiest thing, the most important thing. Everything else can wait. Because with Parkinson's, time management is not just productivity, it's symptom management. All right, moving along. Number 3. Now, this one I want to sit with for a minute. It steals your confidence. Because here's what happens with brain fog over time. You forgot something, and then you forgot something else. And then you repeat a story that you already told. And then you lose a word in front of somebody. And then you start watching yourself. You start monitoring every sentence, every conversation, every pause, trying to catch yourself before someone else does. And then slowly, without even realizing it, you start avoiding things, phone calls or social situations, conversations that you used to enjoy. And not because you don't want to be there, but it's because you're scared that the fog will show up while you're there. That's not laziness. That's not being antisocial. That's Parkinson's brain fog stealing your confidence, one avoided conversation at a time. And here's what I need you to hear. The people who love you are not keeping score the way you think they are. They are not sitting there with a clipboard going, that's the 3rd time he forgot the toaster story. And if they are, then you take that clipboard away. The scorekeeper is usually you. You're the one replaying it. You're the one getting embarrassed. You're the one thinking, I used to be sharper than this. And I get that. I really do. But you don't have to perform perfectly to belong in a conversation. You don't have to be quick to be valuable. And you don't have to be flawless to be loved. You just have to show up as you are. Drop confidence in the comments if that one landed. Because I think this hits harder than a lot of people admit. Okay, number 4. It steals pieces of your relationship. Now, this one is uncomfortable to say, but we're going to say it anyway, because that's why this channel exists. When you repeat the same story and you don't know you've repeated it, there can be a moment in the other person's face, like a tiny flicker, right? And even through the fog, you catch that flicker. And something in that moment can quietly chip away at that dynamic. And not because either person's bad, and not because anyone's trying to hurt anyone, but because Parkinson's has a nasty little habit of sneaking into spaces between people and trying to pull them apart. For the persons with Parkinson's, you're not being careless. Your brain may genuinely not be storing that earlier conversation the same way, or it may not be able to retrieve it clearly when you need it. And that's not a character flaw, that's neurological. And for care partners, this is hard too, because the quiet work of rerouting around those moments without making your person feel small is one of the most invisibly tough jobs that you have to do in Parkinson's. You're trying to help, but not embarrass, correct, but not criticize, support, but not parent. That's a tricky little circus act. And nobody gave you a sparkly jacket or a safety net when you joined. The honest answer here is permission. Both people need permission. Permission to forget, permission to repeat, permission to gently say, "You told me that already, but I'm happy to hear it again." Or even better, "You don't have to remember everything perfectly around me." That sentence can change the whole room. Because without permission, brain fog becomes shame, and shame builds walls. But with permission, it becomes something that you can face together. All right, so number 5. And before we get into number 5, first I want to talk to you about, I want to talk to solos out there. And then we're going to have Carmen's Care Partner Corner. And then I'm going to bring you that fifth one. Now, if you're doing this without a care partner, the relationship piece of today's video may have landed differently, maybe harder, maybe it hurt. Because there may not be someone at home saying, "Tell me again, I don't mind." So I'm saying it. You have permission to forget. You have permission to retell. You have permission to be exactly where you are in this disease without apologizing for it to everyone around you. And if the fog is making you pull back from people, please push back against that impulse, even just a little. Leave a comment, join a conversation, send a message, reach out to somebody safe. This community is here. It really is. Drop solo in the comments if that's you, because I read everyone, and I want you to know you're not alone. And now, it's time for Carmen's Care Partner Corner, and here's what Carmen, my wife, wrote for me to read to you today. Brain fog is the symptom I struggle to understand the most, because it's invisible. And if I'm honest, early on, there were moments where I thought Bryce just wasn't paying attention, or I thought he forgot because he wasn't trying hard enough to remember. I was wrong. And I'm embarrassed it took me as long as it did to understand why. When I finally understood that it was neurologically happening, that the pathway to retrieve a word or memory was genuinely impaired and not just slow, everything shifted. I stopped keeping score. I stopped the tiny sigh when a story repeated. I stopped making it about me. If you're a care partner watching this, give your person permission out loud. Say the words, "You don't have to remember everything perfectly around me." Tell them that. That sentence costs you nothing. And for the person you love, it might be the most generous thing you say all week. Ah, that's Carmen. And as usual, she somehow gets to be kind, wise, and mildly annoying because she's usually right. All right, number 5. And this is the one I've been building towards. Parkinson's brain fog, it steals your sense of self. Not who you are at the deepest level, not your values, not your love, not your humor, not your heart, but the version of yourself that you've identified for decades with. The sharp one, the quick one, the one who remembered everything, the one who could hold 5 things in their head at once and still know where the car keys were. That version can feel harder to access now. And when that happens, even temporarily, there's grief there, a real grief, a mourning for the mental version of yourself that felt more like you. And we don't talk about that enough. We talk a lot about tremors, talk about meds, talk tons about exercise, but we don't always talk about what it feels like to miss the way your mind used to move. So let's say it plainly. The loss is real. But that's not the whole story. You are not the speed of your thoughts. You are not your word retrieval time. You are not your ability to remember every detail. You're the person that keeps showing up. You're the person who gets out of bed. You're the person who keeps trying. You're the person who comes to this channel on a hard day because some part of you is still fighting to live, not just to exist. That is who you are. The brain fog is real. What it takes is real. But what it cannot take, what it does not get to take, is you, the real you, the one that matters. All right? Real talk time. 5 things stolen. Now what? Here are 3 things that you can start to do this week. Number 1, move. I know. You've heard it. I've said it. Doctors say it. Every Parkinson video says it. Every episode of a podcast says it. At this point, exercise has become the broccoli of Parkinson's advice. Now, nobody is shocked when it shows up on the plate, but it matters. Even walking can help your brain. Movement supports mood, sleep, dopamine pathways, blood flow, and cognition. You don't have to be an Olympic athlete. You don't have to start doing burpees in your living room while the dog looks concerned. Start small. It's go for a walk, stretch, march in place. Do something your body can actually tolerate. Small movement is still movement. Okay, number 2, sleep like it matters, because it does. Parkinson's can mess with your sleep in hundreds of little ways, and a poor sleep makes brain fog worse. If your sleep is bad, don't just accept it as part of the deal. Tell your doctor, tell your neurologist, ask about it directly, track it, because sometimes the fog you're blaming on Parkinson's is Parkinson's plus terrible sleep teaming up like 2 villains in a bad sequel. All right, and number 3, be specific with your neurologist. Don't just say, I'm foggy or I've had some brain fog. Say, I lost words mid-sentence 3 times this week. I forgot what I was doing twice yesterday. I lost track of time on Thursday and couldn't account for it. I'm avoiding conversations because I'm scared I'll freeze mentally. Specific symptoms get specific conversations. Vague complaints often get vague nods. Write it down before your appointment. Bring the examples, because when brain fog is the symptom, your notes become your backup brain. And there you go. There are your 5 things. Okay? And if you made it this far, you've unlocked today's Bryce-ism. With Parkinson's, the fog is not the forecast. It's just today's weather. And you've survived every weather system Parkinson's has thrown at you so far. Go back and listen to that one again if you need to. The fog is not the forecast. It's just today's weather. If today's video gave you something, share it with one person. Someone who's been quietly struggling with this, I'm telling you, someone who thinks something is wrong with them because beyond Parkinson's, someone who needs to hear this. No, you're not losing yourself. This is real. And you're not alone. You never were, and you never will be again. Subscribe if you haven't. It's free. It helps the channel keep growing. The community is growing. And drop a comment below and tell me which one hit the hardest for you. The words, time, confidence, relationships, or sense of self. I want to know what this community is carrying. Until next time, I want you to keep showing up. I want you to keep being real. And I want you to keep doing life today. I love you so much, and I'll see you on the next episode.
Parkinson's may be part of your life, but it doesn't get to define it. Thanks for listening to Living with Parkinson's, the good, the bad, and the reality. If this episode moved you, helped you, or reminded you you're not alone, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Want to go deeper? The Inner Circle is waiting. Monthly Zoom calls, 24/7 community, and a direct line to Bryce. You'll find the link in the show notes. Until next time, keep showing up and keep doing life today.